Welcome back to Deep Dive Library, where we do a deep dive on your favorite books. We got a really good chapter this week.
Oh yeah, if you thought the last video that we put up was long because it was 2 chapters in one because we missed a week. Sorry about that again. And,
yeah.
But this week it's just a long chapter.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. It starts off kind of slow, but quickly it takes off. Like it's like a plane taking off. It starts off slow and then it builds its speed and then builds its speed. And then unlike a plane taking off, there's a big just drop at the end.
I really hope that doesn't happen when planes take off. Now, for sure it does sometimes.
Yeah.
But we don't want it to happen.
Nah. Before we get into today's chapter 9, thank you guys for sticking with us. Again, sorry about the, sorry for missing a week. Things have been crazy and hectic, but we're getting...
Sorry for what, it was like a 3-hour video?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Those of you that watched it from beginning to end, thank you.
Mm-hmm. If this is your first time seeing us, go to the channel and start from episode 1.
I mean, if you've read the books, then you can really start from anywhere, but we do suggest starting from the beginning.
Yeah, so, if you're new here, if this is the first time you're seeing us come across your feed or anything like that, please go to the channel, check out the playlist for the podcast, and...
If you don't, we'll cry.
He will. I'll just be sad. Yeah, check that out if this is your first time, and thank you to everybody who stuck with us so far. But this is going to be a long chapter, so we need to get into it as soon as possible.
Quick reminder, though, in 2 chapters, we will have our guest.
Yep, and we will be announcing that next week. It'll be next week that we announce who that is going to be. And then just, the standard, excited. Subscribe, leave a comment. Other than that, let's get back into The Hunger Games, Chapter 9.
Yeah.
And it starts off...
with betrayal.
And then the dragons arrived. Yeah. Which is not our thing. That's from another incredible podcast. But it's still funny.
But it does actually start with the word betrayal. First sentence, just one word, betrayal.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you guys remember, at the end of chapter 8, Katniss finds out that Peeta has been asked to be coached separately.
Yeah, and Katniss is not happy about it. Which she then goes to think, why am I not happy about this?
Yeah, she's like, that's the first thing I feel, which is ludicrous. For there to be betrayal, there would have had to have been trust first. And it's like, yeah, but there wasn't there, because of the whole bread situation. And she's like, between Peeta and me, trust has not been a part of the agreement. Well, fair.
Yeah.
Since being reaped, yeah, no, trust not part of the agreement. And she, says that, they're tributes. But the boy who risked a beating to give me the bread, the one who steadied me in the chariot, who covered for me with the red-headed Avox girl, who insisted Haymitch know my hunting skills, was there some part of me that couldn't help trusting him? And I was like, he's a very trustworthy person, or at least appears to be so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, and Katniss is like, well, I'm a little bit relieved. And the reason he probably doesn't want to continue being allies is because of my training score being outperforming his. And it's like, no.
I mean, but she's like, I'm relieved because at least we don't have to pretend to anymore. Be friends anymore.
Also, no. She's wrong on both fronts here.
Yeah. But, you know.
And then Katniss is like, good. She's like, whatever, man. What's the schedule like? And Haymitch is like, well, you're gonna be tortured by Effie for the next 4 hours. And that's
I mean, basically.
and that's not
That
exactly
is...
what he says.
No, he just says that they have 4 hours
Hours with each of them.
him
Effie's
and
gonna do
Effie.
stage presence while Haymitch works on like interview presence.
Yeah.
Because both are important going into the interviews.
And Katniss is starting with Effie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And again, it's just 4 hours of torture. Now, whether it's 4 hours of torture for Effie or Katniss is still kind of out for debate at this point because Effie has a time.
I just love, though, you know, after Haymitch tells Katniss that she will start with Effie, she's like, I can't imagine what Effie will have to teach me that could take 4 hours, but she's got me working down to the last minute.
Right. And so it's a lot of teaching Katniss how to walk in heels and proper, like sitting etiquette and like how to properly hold yourself well in like a dress gown, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just kind of things that realistically Katniss will never need to know. Yeah. Like Katniss does not need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
It plays no importance at least for now.
And we know that it's not something that she's done before. She literally says, I've never worn high heels and can't get used to essentially wobbling around on the balls of my feet. But Effie runs around in them full time, and I'm determined that if she can do it, so can I.
And I just wrote next to that,
I mean, she manages.
Yeah.
But also, like,
she also manages with heels that are about 2 to 2.5 inches shorter than what Effie had her in.
Yes. But honestly, I think that's smart.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I was actually thinking about that. It's like, well, she's practiced in taller shoes.
Which are definitely harder to walk in.
Right.
We've all worn heels and then took a step wrong and
the ankle just goes, I'm a head out.
Yeah. But also I love the fact that she's so like competitive against Effie.
Right, which is
and
just
Effie
so
has
bizarre.
No idea about it. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, she's wearing this long gown that goes all the way to the floor. And it keeps getting tangled around her feet when she tries to walk, so she hitches it up, and Effie swoops in and smacks her hand and is like, not above the ankle.
And I underlined that, and I'm like, under it, I was like, Victorian, because it's like, it's so Victorian.
Yes, exactly. You know? So it's like, how provocative. An ankle.
Right.
But it's also like, not all the Capital women just walk around in like floor-length gowns.
No,
like,
it as
not in the movie, not in the
as
in the book.
Unpractical as the Capital is all the time. That would be even more unpractical.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Impractical. Sorry.
But I think, you know, so it's not so much about showing off the ankle because they don't walk around in full-length gowns or like pants all the time.
No,
but
I think it has to do with presence.
Yeah, and just being like improper to lift your dress above your ankles.
Yeah, which Katniss gets back at Effie for this in just a little bit here.
And then, you know, when she conquers walking, there's sitting. Apparently she has a tendency to duck her head,
which
it's not like
well, that's kind of what I imagine.
I know that's what you imagine because the first time I read it, that's what I imagined.
You know, I just kind of imagine Katniss sitting around like,
no,
I don't want to do this.
Probably more like,
yeah, just more of a like a gradual tilt than a whole like 90-degree neck. Which I wouldn't really know much about. I don't have a whole lot of that left.
You've never had a whole lot of neck.
Yeah, I've always had a pretty small neck comparatively. Even when I was skinny.
Yeah. Imagine being skinny.
It's been a while.
So the posture, she's got her doing, making more eye contact, hand gestures, smiling.
And the smiling is mostly about smiling more.
Effie makes me say 100 banal phrases, starting with a smile, while smiling, or ending with a smile. While lunch.
Yeah, your southern came out real hard.
I don't even
there.
think that was southern. By lunch, the muscles in my cheeks are twitching from overuse, and we have all been there.
Well, and it's like when you think about it, right? Like we were both in choir,
Yeah.
and like candlelight. So if you don't know, if you're not a choir kid, if you're not a choir kid specifically in like Florida, like
Well,
we
I
were,
mean, wouldn't they like fly people out?
they
From out?
would for some time, but then
Probably after
it was
COVID,
like,
not more.
well, before COVID it was from like just the southeast at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became like just Georgia and Florida, and then it became just Florida, and then as COVID started hitting, it became just Central Florida, and then as COVID hit its peak, it was just
people who worked there.
yeah, it was just the cast members, the like the tree, um, and then like the Voices of Liberty, which is Disney's like professional a cappella group. And when they leave Disney and they're not using the Voices of Liberty moniker, they're using the moniker Liberty Voices, which is hilarious to me. Anyway,
I like to use the moniker Liberty's Kids. I see a land.
That is beautiful and different. Anyway, did I just mix both of those themes together? Yes, but my brain went there. So anyway, so like when Candlelight is a big production that Disney puts on every year starting from the beginning of November through the new year.
Yep.
And when we were doing it primarily, because there's quite a few songs that have been taken out in recent years, again due to COVID and trying to shorten,
like blended,
just to make the show a little bit more condensed. That way, people aren't condensed, unironically, for as long. But like, there was like 14 songs in that entire processional from start to finish, and you're singing almost nonstop. And by the end, your cheek muscles and your jaw muscles, everything in your face would hurt because you're having to be very animated and very, like
because you couldn't just stand there like.
You had to like, if you're a band choir kid, the term smize, which is to smile with your eyes, and
if you are a fan of America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, that too. But anyway, we got off on a really long tangent just to say that we know how Katniss feels in this moment.
Also, we've all been in like play. Well, I assume I am a person who laughs a lot at everything because
you're a giggly bitch by nature.
Yeah, exactly. But we've all like just spent so long laughing that our face hurts, and then we're like,
yeah. So Effie is like, that's the best I can do. Just remember, Katniss, you want the audience to like you. Katniss is like, and you don't think they will? And Effie's like,
not if you glare at them the entire time.
Which I just wrote lol next to it.
Instead, think of yourself amongst friends.
And Katniss is like, very validly so, okay? Oh, yeah. Katniss says, they're betting on how long I'll live. They're not my friends. And Effie's like, well, try to pretend. And like, as she snaps at her.
I'm smiling at you, even though you're aggravating me.
Which is just such a great Effie moment, really.
It really is.
Effie gets a lot of, like, Effie and Haymitch get a lot of really good little moments throughout this story. Mm-hmm. Cinna gets a lot of the bigger ones. And that is primarily because Katniss looks at Cinna more as a friend than the other two, which we get into here.
Yeah. Very shortly. Mean, like, we get a little bit of the three of them before they go in the arena and afterwards. And then we get a little more of them in the second book. So like we get like moments from each of them that really just like kind of builds their
Oh yeah, I
like
just meant
who
like
they are.
specifically within this book, a lot of the bigger moments go to like Cinna.
There's one moment towards the end that is a big moment that goes towards Haymitch, but
I think I know what you're talking about, but we will definitely get there when we get there.
yeah.
Um Katniss is like, it's very convincing.
I'm going to eat.
And I just imagine
Lunchtime.
I just imagine Katniss being like, it's very convincing. Like just so snarky about it in response to like Effie's energy.
I think the way that Carolyn reads it is, yes, it's very convincing. I'm going to eat.
Right. Like
it's
just
kind
very
of
deadpan.
Yeah.
To which she then kicks off her heels, hikes her skirt up to her knees, and to her thighs, and just leaves the room.
Yeah.
And
she's like, "It's time to eat, bitch."
I love lunchtime. This next part. It's like Peeta and Haymitch seem to be in pretty good moods, so I'm thinking the content session should be an improvement over the morning. I couldn't be more wrong. After lunch, Haymitch takes me into the sitting room, directs me to the couch, and then just frowns at me for a while.
Which I can so see Haymitch doing.
Right. But I love this. He's like...
She's just like, what? And he's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do with you. How are we going to present you? Are you going to be charming, aloof, fierce? So far, you're shining like a star. You volunteered for your sister. Cinna made you look unforgettable. You've got the top training score. People are intrigued, but no one knows who you are. The impression you make tomorrow will decide exactly what I can get you in terms of sponsors.
Yeah, and like Katniss is like, thinking about it, she's like, having watched like the Hunger Game, like the interviews, like, you always have those people who fit this category or this category or this category, and the ones who perform better within their own categories tend to get more sponsors and stuff from their sponsors.
I do think it's interesting that, she's like having to watch the tribute interviews all my life. Like, so it's just like reiterating again that they are forced to watch these things.
There's a lot of little hints like that keep reminding you that watching this, or and for lack of a better word, being in attendance for this is mandatory. There's a lot of them. Even like once they're in the arena, there's still a lot of like references to it and things like that. Yeah. And Katniss is like, what's Peeta's approach, or am I not allowed to know that? And
likable. He's got this sort of self-deprecating humor naturally.
Yeah, which he does, and I think that I think Josh Hutcherson nails like the self-deprecating humor for Peeta beautifully. Honestly, like it's done in such a sly way that you have to pay attention to what's being said. It's like in the books. It translates fairly well. Like Peeta will make these things and you're like, wait a minute, that was self-deprecating. It's like, should I really be laughing at that?
Well, I make a lot of self-deprecating jokes and I laugh at those, so why not?
Haymitch is like, whereas when you open your mouth, you come out as sullen and hostile.
She's like, I do not.
And I just almost imagine him, like, I know he's probably saying it very deadpan, but like I almost imagine like a little bit of sarcastic energy. He's like, whereas when you open your mouth, it comes out as like sullen and hostile. Like I could almost imagine that coming from Haymitch.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but he's very serious.
Yeah, like again, sarcastic energy.
And then he literally is like, please, I don't know where that cheery, wavy girl on the chariot came from, but I haven't seen her before or since.
Right.
And she's like, oh, because you've given me so many reasons to be cheery.
Valid. But again, sullen and hostile. Like, literally proving his point.
And the sarcasm is just dripping from her.
It's dripping from both of them. Like, the sarcasm is just flowing from the two of them. Like, honestly, outside of the stress of the games, had they met under better circumstances, I think they'd be incredible friends.
Mayhaps.
Like, prior to the events of the series, of course.
But Haymitch is like,
you don't have to please me. You have to please the audience.
I'm gonna pretend to be so. Delight me. And she just snarls at him.
Yeah, fine. Like, again, sullen and hostile. Like, you're proving...
Definitely the hostile part.
Katniss is, once again, her own worst enemy. She is proving Haymitch's point one sentence after another here.
Yeah. But, she goes on trying to answer Haymitch's interview questions. But she's having a hard time because she's angry with Haymitch for what he said. And the fact that she even has to answer them in the first place.
Right.
And she's like, all I can think about is how unjust the whole thing is. The Hunger Games. Why am I hopping around like some trained dog trying to please people I hate? The longer the interview goes on, the more my fury seems to rise to the surface until I'm literally spitting out answers at him.
And Haymitch is like, all right, enough.
This is clearly not working.
He's like, we've got to find another angle. Not only are you hostile, I don't know anything about you. I've asked you 50...
the fact that you're hostile.
Right. I've asked you 50 questions and still have no sense of your life, your family, what you care about. They want to know about you, Katniss.
She's like, I don't want them to. Like,
yeah.
They're already taking my future. They don't get to have my past, too. It's like, no. The stuff that's important to me from my past is mine. Fuck them.
Yeah, and Haymitch is like, just lie then. Like, make up an answer.
She's like, I'm not good at lying.
And he's like, well, and this line is so incredibly savage. Haymitch goes, well, you better learn fast. You've got about as much charm as a dead slug. Which I just wrote next to that, damn.
And then she's like, ouch.
Yeah.
That hurts. Even Haymitch must know he's been too harsh because his voice softens. Here's an idea. Try acting humble. And it's like, what does he know about me?
Right. More than you.
Oh, God.
Such a great callback to that scene, by the way. And that was totally on the spot. Like, honestly.
That you can't believe a little girl from District 12 has done this well. And it's just like, I don't know how well this is gonna go. He keeps talking, about like Cinna and how well he's done and how the Capitol amazes her. He's like, at least compliment the audience. Just keep turning it back around, all right? Gush.
And Katniss is like, the next few hours are agonizing. At once, it's clear I cannot gush. So they tried the cocky angle, which just doesn't fit.
And apparently she is too vulnerable for ferocity.
Not funny, not witty, not sexy. Just...
By the end of the session, I am no one at all. Same Katniss.
It sounds like she went through therapy with a really bad therapist. Like, because we've all heard the horror stories of people like, they're like, yeah, I was seeing this therapist, and by the time we were done, I felt worse. And like, sometimes you have to feel worse before you feel better, but there should be some glimmer of what's to come. But you hear these horror stories of people like, yeah, I'm never going back to that therapist. I don't even know if I'm even supposed to, like, exist at this point.
Yeah, it's
Which,
like, am I even
by
a
the
person
way,
anymore?
if your therapist constantly makes you feel like that,
Get a new therapist.
find another therapist. They're not helping you. Um, and that is, we're not sponsored by like any therapists or anything like that.
Stop it. Get some help.
But like, yeah, if your therapist is constantly making you feel like you're always the problem, find a new therapist.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom. Uh, yeah. So by the
quote from this episode: "Find a new therapist." Connor, 2025.
Hamish has started drinking somewhere around Witty.
Around?
Yeah.
Hamish started winking somewhere around. Sorry.
Around Witty and Nasty. And a nasty edge has crept into his voice. He's like, I give up, sweetheart. Just answer the questions and try not to let the audience see how openly you despise them. Which, gonna be difficult. Because Katniss can't stand these people.
Yeah. But it's a great line. I love that line.
It's genuinely a good line. Katniss is like, I'm eating in my room by myself.
Yeah.
And then after eating, she has the crash out of like all crash outs.
Oh yeah, she just starts smashing dishes around her room.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually the redheaded Avox girl comes in and to turn down her bed and sees the mess, and Katniss is just like, leave it. Leave it alone.
They're like, yeah, no, Katniss is like full breakdown mode right now. Full breakdown mode.
She's like, I hate her too, with her knowing reproachful eyes that call me a coward, a monster, a puppet of the Capitol, both now and then. For her, justice must finally be happening. At least my death will help pay for the life of the boy in the woods.
Yeah. And then this Avox girl, and I love this scene. This is an incredible scene. It's so simple in the way it plays out, but the Avox girl, instead of leaving the room, decides to close the door behind her, goes to the bathroom, comes back with a damp cloth to wipe Katniss's face, and cleans the blood from
her hands.
From her hands, because she's cut up her hands while smashing plates.
Katniss is just like, why am I doing this? Or why is she doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I letting her?
Yeah, and Katniss whispers to her, she's like, I should have tried to save you. And the girl's like, no.
She shakes her head. She doesn't say no. She can't speak.
I said like.
I know.
She's like, does this mean we were right to stand? Katniss is like, does this mean we were right to stand by? That she has forgiven me? No, it was wrong, Katniss says. And she's like, she taps her lips with her finger and then points to her chest. And Katniss is like, I think that means I would have just ended up in Avox too. Probably would have. And Avox are dead. And Katniss misreads this here. And I think that what the Avox girl was trying to say, and this is my own interpretation, and agree or disagree with me how you feel on this, but I think what the girl was trying to tell Katniss is that the fact that you wanted to in your heart is what matters. You know, because Katniss was even like, I should have tried. Like, you know, earlier than this point, she's like, I should have tried. I could have done something. I should have tried something.
Yeah, she was like, we, Gail and I were taken by surprise, but we're both hunters. We know how prey looks at bay.
Yeah.
I think and line.
Yeah, I think you're right. But you know, I think that's what the Avox girl's trying to. She's like, you wanted to in here, and that's what matters to me.
I can see that, like, that would be the point that she's making, but I do think it's actually more like how Katniss interprets it is like, you know, she's like, okay, you know, if you had done that, you would have ended up like me, or worse. Expelled.
Very, very possible.
Yeah.
Did you just quote Harry Potter? I'm so proud of you.
Every time I say or worse, expelled just comes after. It's just
oh worse, expelled.
But anyway,
to get her priorities straight.
She's spends the next hour helping the redheaded Avox clean up the room, all the broken dishes and the food and stuff that's been strewn
Katniss had
everywhere.
a food fight with herself and lost. I'm just saying, like it happened. It's right here.
You know, uh, and when everything is cleaned away, the Avox, turns down her bed and she says, "I crawl between the sheets, just like a 5-year-old, and let her tuck me in." Then she goes, "I want her to stay until I fall asleep, to be there when I wake. I want the protection of this girl, even though she never had mine."
Which is an incredible line.
It's so sad, too.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes it incredible is the emotion behind the line is so genuine and the want behind it is so genuine that you're like, yeah, Katniss, that's what having a heart is like, you know, for somebody who isn't like Prim, you
Yeah.
know.
I also find it, like, a bit interesting. I wonder, like, how the Avox girl, felt about Katniss helping her clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, not saying that most of the, like, District 12 tributes wouldn't have, like, tried to help. But most of the people that she deals with in the Capitol on a daily basis, Lord, I can't speak today.
I noticed.
Definitely would not have helped her.
No, not at all. Not even in the most remote of thought processes would they even think to help her.
Yeah, no. So
Katniss falls asleep, wakes up the next morning not to the Avox girl, but to her prep team.
The prep team.
The prep team. The naive, lovable idiots.
What are their names?
Venia.
Mm-hmm.
Flavius.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Oh my god. Hold on, no, I'm not gonna look at the page because I don't think it says their names on this page. I think it's the next page.
It is the next page, but it only says Venia on the next page.
Venia, Flavius, and oh my god.
Oh wait, no, the other one's name is there.
My brain keeps going Portia, and it's not Portia. That's
No.
Peeta's stylist.
Yeah. We're not moving on until we get an answer to this question. So you gotta figure it out.
Can it be a wrong answer?
I'll give you a hint. It starts with an O.
Octavia.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yes, she's woken by her
adorably stupid prep team.
And she's like, "My lessons with Effie and Hamage are over. This day belongs to Cinna. He's my last hope." That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, Katniss is like, maybe he can make me look so wonderful no one will care what comes out of my mouth. Which basically does happen.
I mean, kind of, but... a bit.
The team works on Katniss until late afternoon.
And I can't imagine what the fuck they're doing to her that takes all
like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is assuming like Katniss got up at like this is late afternoon. So Katniss would have had to have slept in until 9, maybe 10. Because late afternoon would be about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So her prep team spent the better part of 8 hours. What? Like, I mean, and they do a lot here, right? Like,
I mean,
they're painting. They paint designs, flame designs on her finger and toenails. You know, Venia goes to work on her hair, weaving strands of red into a pattern that begins at her left ear, wraps around her head, and then falls in one braid down her right shoulder. They erase Katniss's face with a layer of pale makeup and draw the features back out, like, you know, full red lips, dark eyes, lashes that throw off bits of light when she blinks. Like, it's not that they're doing nothing, but I don't see how all of this takes
that fucking long
hours.
Like, I know, like, doing hair and makeup and, nails, it takes time.
Oh, for sure.
it's like they waxed her like 4 days ago.
Yeah,
Um,
so her hair is definitely not growing back yet. The
well,
follicles haven't even healed yet, really.
I mean, and she also says that like later she'll make a note that um like once she's in the arena that her body hair hasn't started to grow back yet,
Yeah.
you know. um and so they wouldn't have to do that. Bathing her wouldn't take that long.
No.
Even if they were to like completely scrub her down head to toes, like it wouldn't take that long.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the like prep like that was already done her first day in the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell are they doing to her?
And like again, it's not that they've done nothing at all. Like they've done a lot in just, a paragraph. Katniss explains everything that they do. It just maybe like if by any chance somebody out there watching this does like pageants and stuff, maybe they can give us an idea into what that process is like if it would take, that many hours to from waking up, obviously you need to eat and bathe and like all that and the kind of stuff. Would it really take 8 hours from the start of the process to the end of the process?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, I couldn't imagine.
No. Anyway.
Yeah. So Cinna walks in.
It's like, close your eyes.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's not what you ever want to hear when somebody walks into your room.
I mean, generally, it's never mind. You made it weird.
Oh
in
no,
my brain.
I was just being honest. Like that, you never want somebody to walk up to you and be like, "Close your eyes." Like you never gonna get a good vibe from that.
Usually, it's close your eyes and open your mouth, and it's like I don't know if I trust you to put food in my mouth
because 9-volt batteries exist, and we've been trolled with that enough as children.
Yes, exactly that. But she does, and she can feel the silken inside of the dress as it slips down over her naked body, and it's like, wow, they didn't even like give you a slip or something. Like,
right.
No undies.
No, to say you just freeballing it out on stage, like.
Yeah, it's like what?
No bra, no underwear, nothing. Katniss is just out there full commando.
Yeah.
Like that's a terrifying.
It is, but like.
Well,
she was also afraid that she was going to be naked and covered in black dust for the
entrance ceremony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the opening ceremonies, entrance ceremony, same thing.
I know what you meant.
And I'm assuming the breastplate of the dress has like a built-in bra in it at least.
You mean the bodice?
No. I learned something new.
Not the breastplate. It's not armor.
I mean, it's Katniss's armor for the night.
You make a really good point there.
Yeah. But like, even if there is still a bra built into the dress, give the girl some britches. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like there is a tribute who basically goes up in a sheer gold gown, and you can basically see through it. But like that is not who Katniss is.
It could just be like that she is like in a bra and underwear, and she's talking about the rest of her skin being naked, and that's how she feels it so much. I don't know.
I'm going to take it as that because any other thought process is terrifying to me.
Yeah. And the dress weighs 40 pounds. Sorry, she says it must be 40 pounds. So,
Which,
it's an estimate.
by the
Um,
way, is incredibly heavy to wear on your body.
oh, yeah. Um,
Like, picking up 40 pounds is like simple, easy, no one thinks about it. But to wear 40 pounds,
excuse me? I have issues.
like, I mean, but
I
don't we
have
all?
constant pain. So sometimes 40 pounds is a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still to wear
Oh, yeah.
40 pounds
No,
is
I can't
different
even.
than lifting 40 pounds. It's a different kind of 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like it would actually be easier to wear 40 pounds than it would be to lift 40 pounds because with wearing 40 pounds, eventually your body is going to get used to like carrying that. Whereas with lifting 40 pounds, your legs or your arms are eventually just going to get tired.
right.
So, anyway, that's not the point of this,
No.
But, she.
Grabs onto Octavia's hands and blindly steps into her shoes, which are, to her delight, about 2 inches shorter than the ones that Effie was torturing her with.
Yeah. Or as she puts it, practicing in.
Yeah.
Uh, there's some adjusting and fidgeting, and then silence. And Katniss is like, "Can I open my eyes?" And Cinna's like,
Yes. Open.
"The creature standing before me in the full-length mirror has come from another world, where skin shimmers and eyes flash, and apparently they make their clothes from jewels, because my dress is entirely covered in reflective precious gems, red and yellow and white, with bits of blue that accent the tip of the flame design. The slightest movement gives the impression I am engulfed in tongues of fire."
Which is such an incredible description. And I know we say this every time we get like an incredible description. Um,
We're just.
but this author is just so like Suzanne. This book is so good. This book is so good.
And the next one, also so good. And the next one, also so good.
Yeah,
And the next one,
the,
and the next one.
the way she describes even the most minute of details at times. Sometimes when it almost, what's the words I'm looking for here? It's like if like going back into chapter 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Gale and Katniss are sitting out, and you get that brief description of the forestry out in front of them. It's simple, but it's elegant and it's well described and it's very full of information, even though it's very light description by some terms of like how her descriptions go.
Yeah. Or even here, also in chapter 1, when they're mocking Effie, Gale pulls a few blackberries off the bush and like tosses a berry high towards in a high arc towards me. I catch it in my mouth and break the delicate skin with my teeth. The sweet tartness explodes across my tongue.
Yeah, like it's such a brief description,
yeah,
but it's so vibrant.
Talking about a blackberry, and like we've all had blackberries. Well, maybe not, but everyone should try a blackberry. They're good. I love them.
And if you're allergic to them, don't touch them.
Yeah,
I don't think that needs to be said, but
for some people it probably does.
None of our viewers.
For me, it definitely does. Just because they'd be like, if I like it, I like it. It's like all the foods. Don't be like me. If you have an allergy to something, don't consume it.
But like this closing line to the description of Katniss's dress and how she looks, she's like, "I'm not pretty, I'm not beautiful, I'm as radiant as the sun," which is just a great, like, really, that could be a chapter end right there.
Yeah.
In and of itself, that line coming off this description of the dress could be a chapter ending, like a chapter ending sentence.
Yeah.
In and of itself. Because everything that leads up to it is just so eloquently written. Just it's
and I love Katniss's reaction to seeing it. You know, she's just like, "Oh, Cinna, thank you."
Yeah.
You know, and like definitely sounds like a little girl in my head, you know.
Yeah.
And when Carolyn reads it, when that line happens, you know, and then
it has that slight touch of naivety to it.
Yeah.
Which really just adds to the somber delight is the best way. It sounds like a drink. Yes, I'd like a somber delight extra foam. I'm so stupid. Anyway.
Yes, you
are. But like there is a somberness to this, not in like a bad way, just in an awe way.
Yeah.
You know?
And then Cinna says something that he will say again, and again, and again.
And again.
12 for me. 12 for me.
Katniss then proceeds to hold out her arms and spin in a circle. The prep team screams in admiration. Cinna dismisses the team. He's like, now shoot.
No, you know, I mean...
He would never put it that way, because Cinna is too sweet for that. But in some alternate universe somewhere, definitely.
But you know, he dismisses the team and has Katniss move around in the dress and the shoes, make sure everything fits properly, and that you know, she's good to walk around. And
she realizes that the skirt hangs in such a way that, you know, she won't be tripping over it, which she is very happy for.
Yeah, and she doesn't need to hold it up when she walks, which she is also very happy for, which is definitely by design. Cinna did that on purpose.
Yeah, like, he can tell, you know, that Katniss does not have this high society eloquence to her.
Well, I don't even think it's so much that, but also, like, if you've never worn a long dress and high heels, walking in them, especially as a combo, has to be very difficult.
Oh, probably.
So he's like, to make it easier on her, you know, so then, because he doesn't want her, there's like a hair stuck to my eyelashes.
I've never worn a dress, so I don't know what it's like to wear one, but I could ask a certain brother of ours.
Or we can just go up to like the Goodwill and find you a dress.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Why not?
I'm not brave enough for that.
I'll wear one if you wear one.
No, I'm good.
We'll go to prom.
What prom?
Backyard prom.
Ah, yes, dancing with the snakes.
The grass isn't... It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I was like, the grass is pretty tall right now.
Yeah. But, you know, I think he did that on purpose to make it easier on Katniss.
Oh, no, for sure.
He's like, you're not a high society woman.
And you know the thing I love about why the how you just said that is I can totally see Cinna saying something in that tone of voice in a mocking manner. especially when you look at it in scope of the movie. Like, I could totally see that just as a bit of levity, him saying something along those lines in that very overly posh tone of voice as a comedic effect.
I need you to... Sorry, it took a minute for me to compose myself.
Yeah, that laughing fit aside, I could still see that happening, just in a mocking way. I could totally see that.
I don't know if I could actually see Cinna, like, mocking anyone like that.
No. I under the right circumstances, I could see him doing it as a joke. Let me put it that way.
Mayhaps. I feel like,
Mhm.
honestly, if anyone in this series was going to do that in a mocking voice, it'd probably be Haymitch.
Haymitch or
Gale?
no, I'm thinking Plutarch.
Oh, maybe.
I could see Plutarch, who is someone we have. Well, yeah, no, someone we haven't met yet. Technically.
We have and we haven't, but
Yes.
we'll get to that later.
Quite a bit later.
Hey, I didn't say that it was gonna be like in the next 5 minutes or like in the next chapter, just later.
Yeah, try about a year and a half from now, or a year from now.
Depends on how well this goes.
What do you mean?
Well, depending on how well doing this goes and how well life goes, we might start doing 2 videos a week instead of one. So it won't be as long before we get to it.
That's true.
Yep.
So let's see here. Back on track.
Cinna is like, so are you ready for the interview?
And Katniss can tell that like he's talked to Haymitch, and Katniss is like, "I'm awful." Haymitch says, "I'm a dead slug." And she's like, "No matter what we try, I just couldn't do it. I just can't be one of those people he wants me to be." And Cinna's like, he ponders this for a minute. He's like, "Why don't you just be yourself?"
And she's like, myself? That's no good either. Haymitch says that I'm sullen and hostile. And he's like, well, you are around
Haymitch.
But I don't find you that way, and the prep team adores you.
And she adores her prep team.
Yeah. You even won over the game makers. And as for the citizens of the capital, well, they can't stop talking about you. No one can help but admire your spirit.
Katniss is like, my spirit.
Like,
that's a new thought. She's like, that's new.
I'm not sure exactly what it means.
I'm sorry, that just popped in my head.
Anyway, where was I? Right.
Yeah, Barcelona. Sorry, guys.
Anyway, she's like,
I've been
I'm
up
not
since 2 a.m. I'm feeling it.
She's like, I'm not exactly sure what it means, but it suggests I'm a fighter, in a sort of brave way. It's like, yeah, Katniss.
You got this, man.
It's not as if I'm never friendly. Okay, maybe I don't go around loving everybody I meet. Maybe my smiles are hard to come by, but I do care for some people.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're not Deli Cartwright. Poor Deli. I hate the way she describes her. Deli Cartwright is a pasty-faced, lumpy girl who looks as much like our surfer as a beetle does a butterfly.
Right,
it's like damn, it's so rude.
It's so rude.
I know we talked about it before when we actually like went over that line, but it's a thing that pops in my head every time I think of Deli. That's like just that, Deli Cartwright, a pasty faced lumpy girl. It's like, damn,
right, and then
Katniss.
And then in the second book, you go on to actually meet Deli Cartwright, and she's like very pleasant.
No, you don't.
There's mentions of her. Well, you don't meet her. There are mentions of her.
You meet her in the 3rd book in Mockingjay.
Is it in the 3rd book? Well, either way, she's such a sweet girl.
Oh, yeah.
So to be described in such a heinous manner is completely disrespectful to her.
Oh, for sure. Deli is such a sweet girl, but I think that's part of what, like, throws Katniss off about her, is, like, how are you just so naturally sweet?
Right.
Anyway.
So, yeah, Cinna takes Katniss's icy hands in his warm ones, and Cinna's like, well, suppose... Sorry, there's something in the crest of my book. He's like, well, suppose when you answer the question, you think you're addressing a friend back home. Who would your best friend be?
She's like, Gale. But
That
It
makes
doesn't
no
make
sense. Katniss, like, and it's true. It doesn't make any sense because
Gale already knows
knows
those
all of
things.
knows all these
And
things,
he's like, "What about me? Could you think of me as a friend?"
which I love.
Yeah,
This is perhaps one of my favorite scenes involving Senna in the entire series.
that's fair.
Um, because he's like Katniss is like, I think so, but like there's still that like
Hesitant.
hesitation. And he's like, I'll be like, he doesn't even let her finish that thought. He's like, I'll be sitting in the main platform with the other stylists. You'll be able to look right at me. When you're asked a question, find me and answer it as honestly as possible.
Even if what I think is horrible,
Because it might be. And he goes, especially if you think it's horrible. You'll try it. You know, and it's like it's framed as a question, but it's almost it's written here in the book as a question, but to me it's almost not a question. He's like, just do this and trust me, it'll play out for you.
um, but she agrees. She's like, it's a plan, or at least a straw to grasp at. So she's got at least something in mind as to what she will be doing when she's up on stage during
Mm-hmm.
her interview. Um, but then it's time to go. Uh, and
Once she's out of her room, it's mere moments before she's on stage, before the Capitol, before
yeah.
everyone, all of Panem.
Yep, and as soon as Cinna turns the doorknob, I stop his hand. Cinna, I'm completely overcome with stage fright. Remember, they already love you, he says gently. Just be yourself.
I love this scene so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
like
too.
like this scene, and I don't remember if it plays out the same in
I don't know, because
the
honestly,
movie. I don't remember this portion of the movie that well.
I don't think it plays out like this for the movie, which,
If it doesn't, it's really sad because this is such a powerful moment, not only not just for Senna as a character, but for Katniss having someone in the capital that is a part of the capital, a citizen of the capital, who genuinely just wants her to be her, believes in her for who she is. Like this is such a big moment that we see continue to blossom in many ways throughout the remainder of the trilogy.
yeah. I mean, it's not. It's really nice for Katniss to have someone in the capital that she trusts.
Yeah.
At where we are now, she doesn't really hate her team, but she also doesn't really like them either. She
Yeah,
could do without them.
she hasn't gotten to that point where she realizes that she does love them.
Yeah.
You know.
Effie, she's like, she could give or take Effie depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
She basically just despises Haymitch.
but Haymitch is not a member of the Capitol. He's from District 12, so
Fair.
.
I'm thinking of like the people she's been around since being in the Capitol. So that's on
now,
me
I'm
there.
talking about Capitol people.
Yeah.
So there's Portia, but Portia is Peeta's stylist.
So she gets very limited interaction with her.
Yeah. So, for her to have someone from the Capitol that she just trusts basically immediately is, really nice for her.
Yeah. Let's see here. Portia and her gang have been hard at work. Peeta looks striking in a black suit with flame accents. While they look well together, it is a relief not to be dressed identically. Haymitch and Effie are all fancied up for the occasion. Katniss is like, I avoid Haymitch, but accept Effie's compliments. It's like, Effie can be tiresome and clueless, but she's not destructive like Haymitch.
Yeah.
Which, valid.
And, so then they go over to the elevators and get on it and head to the
Head down to the first floor of the training center.
yeah, where they've built a stage in front of the training center where the interviews will take place.
Mm-hmm. And as they are lining up, Haymitch is like, remember, you're still a happy pair, so act like it. And Katniss is like, what?
Why the fuck did you read it like that?
I don't know. Again, I've been up since 2 a.m.
That's fair.
I'm tired.
Well, I just, before that, she says that, all 24 of us sit in a big arc. So my brain is just like kind of like a rainbow, over the stage. And she'll be second to last because the girl tribute precedes the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, how I wish I could be first and get this whole thing over with and out of the way. Now I'll have to listen to how witty, funny, humble, fierce. Lord, I can't.
I've noticed.
Now I'll have to listen to how witty, funny, humble, fierce, and charming everybody else is before I can go up. And it's just like, that's rough, buddy.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, and plus, the audience is going to get bored just like the game makers did and probably not pay me any attention. Wrong.
I can't exactly shoot an arrow into the crowd to get their attention.
Katniss's first kill of the Hunger Games as a capital citizen, just
but yes, Haymitch is like, you're still a happy pair, so act like it. She's like, the fuck you mean?
Right.
She's like, what? I thought we abandoned that when Peeta asked for separate coaching, but I guess that was private, not a public thing. Anyway, there's not much chance for interaction now as we walk single file to our seats and take our places.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe one of the most eccentric people of the Capitol that we will meet.
Yeah, so Katniss is basically just talking about her surroundings and how the Capitol, like the city streets and everything is filled. It's standing room only. She's talking about her nerves, and how many cameras there are. She's talking about the
at homes and community halls around the country. Every television set is turned on. Every citizen of Panem is tuned in. There will be no blackouts tonight.
And then we get introduced to
one of my favorite characters.
One of the best characters in this entire series. The one and only
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, actually, you're not wrong.
I know.
And Stanley Tucci does an incredible. Sorry, there are sirens going past the house right now.
It was just like all of a sudden, like it started. Like I think somebody probably just got pulled over.
Oh, probably
because.
But Caesar Flickerman is one
either.
of the greatest characters in this series, and is just ever so flawlessly portrayed by Stanley Tucci.
Oh yeah.
And so I almost called him Stanley. His name is Caesar. Caesar has hosted the games for more than 40 years.
It makes me wonder,
how old is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 40 years ago would have been, this is the 74th, so 40 years would have been the 34th.
Yeah. But for more than 40 years.
Yeah, so I'm rounding it down to make it simple math.
Right. But, he's been doing the interviews for more than 40 years, but he bounces onto the stage, and it's like, dude, how much energy do you have? Are you doing,
Oh, probably.
Probably.
There's probably, tons of drugs in the Capitol.
Oh,
and none of them are illegal.
Yeah.
But Katniss goes on to say that his parents, his appearance has virtually remained unchanged during this entire time. Same face under a coating of pure white makeup. Same hairstyle that he dyes different colors for each Hunger Games. Same ceremonial suit, a midnight blue suit dotted with 1,000 tiny electric bulbs that twinkle like stars. And then, Katniss is like, they do surgery in the Capitol to make people like look young and stay young. But like in District 12, and this is true from like some parts of the world too, right? Is where getting old is a sign of success.
Yeah.
In District 12 and in some places around the world, where dying at a young age due
Is
to
so common.
illness or disease or starvation is a very commonplace thing.
Mm.
Um, when like she goes on to say, when you see an old person in District 12, they're applauded. They're like, how did you make it this far? How'd you get,
Congratulate them on their longevity.
but whereas a plump person
Oh no,
is,
not whereas, because she's like
yeah.
in District 12, looking old is something of an achievement since so many people die early. You see an elderly person, you want to congratulate them on their longevity. Ask the secret of survival. A plump person is envied because they aren't scraping by like the majority of us. But here it's different. Wrinkles aren't desirable. A round belly isn't a sign of success.
Mm-hmm. So this year, Caesar's hair is a
Powder
powder
blue.
blue. Which if you get that reference, awesome on you.
I don't.
It's a my brain just lost the comedian's name. Jeff Dunham, if I'm not mistaken,
I
it's a Jeff
don't.
Dunham reference. Um, Powder blue, his eyelids and lips are coated in the same hue.
He
Uh,
looked
he looks freakish, but less frightening than last year,
when
in
his
which his color was crimson.
and he seemed to be bleeding, and I
Which,
can imagine that.
yeah, just that had to be terrifying to look at.
Just a bit.
Um, so when we get into teaser,
Teaser.
teaser, teaser
Trailer.
sells teaser sells a few jokes. CELS. um, Caesar tells a few jokes to warm up the audience, get them like loose and like energized and happy and whatever.
It's like woohoo party.
And then girl tribute from District 1, who, looking provocative in a see-through golden gown, steps to the center of the stage to join Caesar for her interview.
I think that's I can't remember if they sit down during their interviews in the movie, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a little more casual. Um, I mean, it's still high stress, but it's they get to sit, and I don't think, do they even mention if they sit here or not while in the interview, or do they just stand there
No,
the whole time?
I think they just stand there the whole time. I mean, because she steps up to the center of the stage.
For her interview, yeah. So presumably they're just standing,
Yeah.
which sucks.
I mean, they're only standing for 3 minutes. It's not that bad.
Yeah, no, but for someone like Katniss who has to wear heels, that sucks.
It's only 3 minutes. It's not that bad. I've stood in heels for 3 minutes. It ain't that bad. It's not comfy, but it ain't that bad. Especially considering she's been sitting most of the time, so at least her feet aren't hurting as much as it would be if she had been standing the whole time.
Fair point, fair point. Let's see here. So, obviously her stylist went with the sexy angle for her.
Mm-hmm.
Float with her flowing blonde hair, emerald green eyes, her body tall and lush. She's sexy all the way. Each interview only lasts 3 minutes.
Yep.
Um,
Then a buzzer goes off, and it's time for the next.
Yeah,
one.
it's basically like a round robin. Buzzer goes off. Female tribute dips. Male tribute comes on stage. Buzzer, next district, so on and so forth, all the way through the 24 tributes. Caesar is expert at conducting these interviews.
Yeah. I'll say this for Caesar: he really does his best to make the tribute shine. He's friendly, tries to get the nervous ones at ease, laughs at lame jokes, and can turn a weak response into a memorable one by the way he reacts. And it's like, well, that's nice at least. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, he's not just. I feel like there would be quite a few capital people who would just be trying to like provoke
Mm-hmm.
the tributes.
Yeah, and to provoke answers out of them, where Caesar seems to kind of let them answer how they want and then energize it from there.
Yeah.
Like he's a very charismatic person.
Yeah.
You know, he rolls nat 20s on his charisma constantly. Um
Katniss sits like a lady.
mhm.
Um,
Was that a Lady in the Tramp reference?
no, just because the you gotta sit with your feet
Oh,
crossed at the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
ankles
yeah,
to
yeah.
the side. Um, and you know, as it goes on.
Yeah, districts slip by 2, 3, 4. Everyone seems to be playing up some angle. The monstrous boy from 2, that's a ruthless killing machine. The fox face girl, which is the first mention of fox face. Who?
You never find out her name.
No, you don't.
Not
But
even like literally.
she. It's weird how important of a side character that she is going later on, because out of the side characters that we meet, other than like Rue and Thresh, she gets them, and like Kato,
Mm-hmm.
she gets a lot of screen time,
Yeah.
or like page time, screen time, same thing in my head. Um, but she's from District 5.
Sly and elusive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she finds where Cinna's at in the audience. Um, but even his presence can't relax her. 8, 9, 10. The crippled boy from 10 is very quiet. Uh, her palms are sweaty.
Mom spaghetti. Yeah, I love this. She's like, my palms are sweating like crazy. Put the jeweled dress as an absorbent, and they skid right off if I try to dry them. 11.
uh, Rue, who is dressed in a gossamer gown complete with wings, flutters her way to Caesar. A hush falls over the crowd at the sight of this magical wisp of a tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I can
And
see her
then,
in
like,
that. And
yeah.
she's just so cute.
And then, Caesar's very sweet with her, complimenting her on her 7 in training, and stating that how that's a really good score for someone so small. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know?
mean, before she said, when Katniss is comparing her to Prim and talking about that, she was like, neither of them could tip the scale at 70 pounds
Soaking
soaking
wet.
wet.
Yeah.
So she's definitely small. She's 12.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when he asks her what her greatest strength in the arena will be, she doesn't hesitate. I'm very hard to catch, she says in a tremulous voice. And if they can't catch me, they can't kill me. So don't count me out. I wouldn't in a million years.
Yeah, same. I also read that in that voice. The boy tribute from 11, Thresh, has the same dark skin as Rue, but that's where the resemblance ceases. Um, Katniss is like, he's one of the giants, probably 6.5 feet tall and built like an ox. But I noticed that he rejected the invitations from the career tributes to join their crowd. Instead, he's been very solitary, speaking to no one, showing little interest in training. Even so, he scored a 10, and it's not hard to imagine he impressed the game makers. A 10 for doing almost nothing for 3 days is impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, but they probably just looked at his size and was like, damn.
yeah. He ignores Caesar's attempts at banter and answers with yes or no, or just completely remains silent, which we all know somebody like that.
And Katniss is like, if only I was his size, I could get away with sullen and hostile, and it would be just fine.
Yeah.
I bet half the sponsors are at least considering him. If I had money, I'd bet on him myself. And then
And
they're calling
Katniss
Katniss Everdeen.
Everdeen. Katniss is like, I feel myself as if in a dream, standing and making my way to center stage. I shake Caesar's outstretched hand, and he has the good grace to not immediately wipe it off on his suit.
Which I wouldn't have been able to do. And not because I'm rude, but because, like, it's the feeling. It's gross to me.
So Caesar asks Katniss, what impressed you the most since you arrived here? And Katniss is like, huh? Like, she's totally deer in the headlights right here.
Oh, yeah.
She, wow. Her mouth has gone completely to sawdust.
And just imagine her mouth just turning into sawdust. Just filling up with sawdust.
Yeah, that's the Hunger Games horror parody we're thinking of here.
How many times are we gonna do that?
Katniss finds Cinna in the crowd. And what does Katniss say that her favorite thing has been since entering the Capitol?
She's like, I racked my brain for something that made me happy here. Be honest, I think. Be honest. The lamb stew.
Katniss is a certified big back. Let's go.
And, you know, Caesar laughs and the audience laughs. And he's like, the one with the dried plums? And she nods. And he's like, oh, I could eat it by the bucketful. And then, like, it turns sideways and puts its hand on his stomach in horror. And is like, it doesn't show, does it?
And they proceed to shout reassurances back to him.
Yeah, and they all have a good little laugh over that. And Katniss is thinking to herself, yeah, this is what I was saying before, you know, he tries to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, now, Katniss, when you came out in the opening ceremonies, my heart actually stopped. What did you think of that costume?
And like this is a like an important little moment because Cinna is sitting right there. Yeah. So he's gonna find out one way or the other what Katniss thinks.
Yeah.
And he even raises an eyebrow to her, like, well, what do you think? You know? Katniss answers beautifully here. She's like, you mean after I got over the fear of being burned alive?
And then everybody laughs, and Caesar's like, yes, start that.
Katniss goes, I thought Cinna was brilliant, and it was one of the most gorgeous, it was the most gorgeous costume I'd ever seen. And I couldn't believe I was wearing it. I can't believe I'm wearing this either. I lift up my skirt, Katniss lifts up her skirt,
and spreads it out.
And she's like, look at it. And the audience oohs and ahs. Ooh. Ah.
And she can see Cinna making the tiniest circular motion with his finger. But she knows what he's saying. Twirl for me. And she does.
And the crowd, she spins, and Caesar's like,
oh, do that again.
Like, and so she begins to spin and spin and spin, and letting the skirt fly out and flare out, and the dress begins to get engulfed in flames as the light.
Yeah.
You know.
And the audience just is cheering so much.
The audience guffaws, as it were. I just wanted to say guffaw.
That's fair. It just doesn't fit there.
No, not at all.
And then, you know, when she stops, she clutches onto Caesar's arm, and he's like, don't stop. And she's like, I have to. I'm dizzy. I'm also giggling, which I think I've done maybe never in my life. But the nerves and the spinning have gotten to me.
Yeah, and I double underlined never, because it's like, you've never giggled ever?
I mean, she might have, like, when she was, like, a tiny child, but honestly, I can't, like, even here, she is giggling. I can't imagine her giggling. Like, not in this moment, I can't. I just mean, like, in general, I can't imagine that being something that she does. Like, Prim giggles. Katniss does not giggle.
uh Yeah, so I do love this. I do love that line. I've done maybe never in my lifetime.
Caesar wraps a protective arm around me. Don't worry, I've got you. Can't have you following in your mentor's footsteps.
Which, like, damn, dog.
Yep.
Like, you did not, I mean, he did, but you didn't at the same time have to call out Haymitch like that.
And everybody laughs at that, and the camera finds Haymitch, who is, of course, now famous for his head dive.
Mm-hmm.
And he waves them away good-naturedly and points back to Katniss.
Yeah, he's like, keep the camera over there. You don't want to see this.
And then Caesar's like, it's all right. She's safe with me. So how about that score? 11. Give us a hint. What happened in there?
As all Katniss like manages, it's like I think it was a first. The cameras are right on the game makers at this point, who are chuckling and nodding.
She's like, "You're killing us." Details.
Right. And Katniss addresses the balcony, and she's like, "I'm not supposed to talk about it, right?" And the game maker
who fell into the punch bowl shouts out, "She's not."
And I just underlined that sentence and wrote important because it does later become important.
Poor punch bowl.
If you had actually had that written over there, I would have died right now. And Katniss is like, "Thank you. Sorry, my lips are sealed." Caesar, being on. Caesar and his ability to keep that energy moving, he's like, all right, then let's go back to the moment when they called out your sister's name and you volunteered. He's like, can you tell us about her?
And Katniss is like, no, not all of you, but maybe Cinna. I don't think I'm imagining the sadness on his face. Her name is Prim. She's 12, and I love her more than anything. You can hear a pin drop in the city circle now. What did she say to you after the reaping? Be honest. I swallow hard. She asked me to really try hard to win. And what did you say to her? Prompts Caesar gently. But instead of warmth, I feel an icy rigidity take over my body. My muscles tense as they do before I kill. When I speak, my voice has dropped an octave. I swore I would.
Mm-hmm. And
I bet you did.
And, the buzzer goes off. And I just want to, like...
Perfect timing, honestly.
Right. Hold on. I just want to...
What are we thinking about?
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find... So, basically, Katniss's interview starts at the beginning of the previous page, or the beginning of page 127, if you're reading along with us, right? And goes for 3... No, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4...
No, her interview, so...
Yeah, no, 3 full pages.
Yeah.
And, like, this, all of this takes place within the span of 3 minutes. So basically, it's like a minute a page, essentially.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way, right?
Definitely took us longer to read.
Yeah.
Those 3 pages.
But you gotta think of his ability to just keep it moving. Like, it's so impressive that he gets all of this information out of her in that short amount of time,
Yeah.
It really shows to what a great interviewer and a great host that Caesar is. And that was the point I wanted to make.
He's been doing this for 40 plus years, so, he's had a lot of practice at it. But, like we said before, the buzzer goes off, and he's like, sorry, we're out of time. Best of luck, Katniss Everdeen, a tribute from District 12. And she leaves. She gets off the stage.
She sits back down and looks up to Senna for some reassurance, and he just gives her a subtle thumbs up. And it's Peeta's turn.
Yep. And he goes up there, and she's kind of dazed for the beginning of his interview. But she can hear the laughter of the audience, and, hears that he's playing up the baker's son, comparing the tributes to the bread from their districts. Then has a funny anecdote about the perils of the Capitol shower, which I love the fact that he had
a similar issue that Katniss had. Yeah.
We don't know exactly what he goes through with the Capitol shower, but we know that it wasn't just Katniss who had some rough times with the shower. And then he's like, tell me, do I still smell like roses? He asks Caesar. And then there's a whole run where they take turns sniffing each other that brings down the house. And
this plays out so well in the movie. There's them back and forth with the sniffing each other is honestly hilarious as hell to watch on screen.
I did not realize how congested you were until you went.
Yeah. My allergies are killing me right now. But Katniss gradually starts to refocus when Caesar asks Peeta if he has a girlfriend back home, and Peeta's like, well, no.
He gives like an unconvincing shake of his head.
Yeah, he's like, no. And Caesar's like, a handsome lad like you, there's gotta be somebody back home.
Come on,
what's her name? And Peeta's like, well, there's this one girl. I've had a crush on her since I can remember. But I'm pretty sure she didn't know I was alive until the reaping.
Sounds of sympathy from the crowd. Unrequited love they can relate to.
And Caesar's like, does she have another fellow? And he's like, I don't know, but a lot of boys like her. So, and Caesar, being the ever charismatic person that he is like, so here's what you do. You win, you go home. She can't turn you down after that, eh?
And Peeta's like, I don't think it's going to work out. Winning won't help in my case. And Caesar rightfully is like, why ever not? And Peeta blushes, beet red, and stammers out.
And drops the biggest bomb the Hunger Games have ever seen. At least till this point.
I don't know. Look at District 13.
That was before the Hunger Games.
Yeah, but I was thinking more of Hunger Games, the world. Anyway, Peeta blushes beet red and stammers out because she came here with me.
And that is where chapter 9 ends.
And part 1 ends.
This is the end of part 1 of the Hunger Games. And to be dramatic, I just kind of wrote an audible gasp.
Just
yeah, like I just wrote audible gasp at the end of the page here. But like, imagine this being done episodically. For like instead of it being a feature-length film, imagine this being like an episode, and this is just where the episode ends.
Dude, I was confused for just a moment because you were like, imagine this being done episodically, and I was like, what the hell do you think we're doing here? Like,
no, imagine this being done on TV as a series.
Yeah.
And this being episode 9, and it being
it'd be that line.
The mid-season finale.
Because she came here with me, and then
cuts to the credits.
Yep.
Like, you know,
credit music just starts
playing, and it's like,
and everybody's like, no!
To be continued. It shows up on screen, or what, like, however you want to dramatize it, right?
Yeah.
But, like, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, thankfully, like, you guys who are following along with us online here have to wait until next week before we get back into it. But could you imagine, like, going out and buying the Hunger Games, but you have to get it in installments, and like, this is where the first part of the book ends. Like, if it was broke up into how The Green Mile by Stephen King is broke up. It's broke up into novellas. And could you imagine that being a thing? Like each part of this being its own little book, and then having to wait for the next novella to come out?
Mm-mm.
Like it would be infuriating. At least like this way,
It's only a week.
At least with the book, how it actually is, you can just go
What?
what
Flip the page
and flip
and
into
go.
chapter 10.
And you'd have to flip the page if it's got the part 2 page
Yeah.
here. So
and yeah, like
Chapter 10.
that's the end of part 1
Yeah.
of the Hunger Games, of the first Hunger Games.
And great chapter. I love this chapter.
This is probably, I think this is probably one of the best pre-games chapters
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah.
I'd say at least top 3. Just the way it's written and how everything's executed, and the descriptors we get of Katniss and Peeta and the Capitol and how everything is, and the reactions to everything.
It's just so good.
You could teach a master class with just this chapter alone. And I think I've said that already.
I don't remember if you have, but what did I eat for lunch today?
Right. I could have said that about a chapter 1 through 8 at some point. But still, chapter 9, you really could. Because start to finish, it is captivating. Start to finish, you want to know what's going to happen next. It is a very long chapter. Maybe not in terms of pages. Because, it's only, 17 pages long?
Yeah.
So it's not the longest in terms of pages.
But in terms it's also not the longest in terms of our videos. Like, we've only been going for an hour and a half by now. And I think our first video was the longest with over 2 hours.
Yeah, and we were also like really nervous and trying to feel for things, so I think a lot of that played into it as well.
Though I do believe, I think chapter 1 is longer than chapter 9.
I think so in terms of pages, but in terms of what happens in this chapter, it's a very long chapter.
Yeah.
It's 2 days worth of information, it's 2 days worth of material, it's 2 days worth of activities. Katniss is basically being insulted and tortured for 8 hours straight just to wake up and go through makeup for 8 hours. Like, Katniss has had a long 24 to 48 hours here.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
From this point forward.
Because, this is the day before they go into the arena.
Yeah.
So,
and
she's got that to look forward to.
This chapter 10, I want to say takes us right up until just before she goes in.
Yeah, because
if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Then I hear the legendary announcer Claudius Temple-Smith, and his voice booms all around me. Ladies and gentlemen, let the 74th Hunger Games begin. So yeah, this is like right into this ends going right into the arena.
Which is why we chose for chapter 11 to be the one that we would have first.
Because
guessed with
11 is where things get spicy. The story picks up and it tears off from here.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't mean just for the rest of the book. I mean for the rest of the trilogy. This starts a cataclysmic event. I use that term loosely. Well, sorta. Spoilers. But this...
The chapter 11 starts something that carries on through the rest of the series.
This... that like in the second book you have the quarter quell, and for those of you who might be following this along following along on this for the first time and have never read the Hunger Games, we will get to that. But really, that's just a continuation of what starts in chapter 11.
For sure.
Like, even though Katniss is out of the arena at the end of this book, the games have only just begun.
Yeah.
And I love that is the way it's written in this
realistically,
series.
You could actually say that Prim's name being called at the Reaping was the catalyst.
Yes.
But I definitely agree with, chapter 11 is really where things, get started.
Yeah, and there's really never a dull moment from the end of chapter 10
To the end
to,
of the series.
and to the end of the saga as a whole. Like there's never a dull moment.
Oh yeah.
From and I'm not saying that there's any like there's I'm not saying that there are dull moments, in the first quarter of this book.
Yeah, there's some.
Wow, we are a quarter of the way through this book. Almost chapter 10 will be just under halfway. So we're a little over a quarter of the way through the book.
Either way. But yeah, that's been chapter 9.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for next week. I'm very excited for the following week where
Yeah.
we will have our first guest on. And it's going to be incredible. They are very excited. Like cannot stop talking about how excited they are to come on and join us for this, especially as like the first guest host that we will have on.
And we are also extremely
Extremely
excited to
excited.
have them on. It'll be a lot of fun. I'd say expect for that one to be a bit of a longer
Yeah,
video.
because there's going to be definitely some just kind of talking and getting you to know who this person is and things like that. So it's going to be a little bit more laid back at the start. Things are definitely going to be a little bit longer. But it's going to be nonetheless an incredible episode start to finish.
It's going to be so much fun.
Um
So, look forward to next episode where we finally name drop uh who our first guest is gonna be.
yeah. And thank you guys again. I know this is the beginning of the episode, but those of you who have been following along with us and keeping up with the episodes and watching them week after week or sitting down and watching a 3-hour episode as it were for the case of last week,
Yeah.
it means so much to us. This is something we do anyway, and I think we mentioned this in both episode 1 and in episode 0. This is something we do anyways.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have more people to talk about it with in the way that we talk about this book and books that we will go on to discuss in the future and dive and take a nice little deep dive into in the future.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I had to. Shameless plug moment. Sort of.
I mean, not really, because this is the deep dive library. So,
Right.
like, if they're listening to this,
Right. So like there have been times, where it's like, for today, like we are recording this the day of because we have had very little time this last week.
yeah, life.
Life is lifing right now. And so
Oh yeah.
basically once I hit stop recording on this episode, I'm going to begin the upload process and getting it out to you guys. So this will, things go awry sometimes in our week and we can't record when we want. But we look forward to this day every single week. We absolutely love what we are doing. And even if it's hokey or cheesy or whatever it may be, that's just because that's who we are as people. We are very hokey and cheesy people.
I mean, even if, like, our best viewer is our only viewer, like, we still, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're doing this because,
we want to.
Yeah, we have fun with it, and we want to give people the opportunity to join in the conversation about these books that we adore.
And like you said, if our only viewer, or if our best viewer is our only viewer, if we've got one person watching us every week, that's okay to us. Like,
I said our best viewer, and I meant to say our biggest fan. If our biggest fan is our only viewer, that's fine, because I know that they're enjoying it.
And so if there's only one or two of you guys who watch us every week, rest assured we appreciate that. We might not always say it in a very heartfelt way, but we do. Even if we only ever have like 5 viewers for the sake of forever that we do this podcast,
Who cares? We're having
that's
fun.
fine with us. As long as those of you who are watching and following along are enjoying, and as long as we're enjoying what we get to put out, um, even if it's sometimes tangent after tangent after tangent, we have to like heavily reel it back in.
Sometimes tangent after tangent. Boy, you and I, we can
We can
tangent with the best of them.
That was awesome. And again, like hokey shit like that. But so we really do appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, leave a comment, share it with a friend, a family, coworkers, your boss. If you know a bookworm, if you stumbled upon this and you're like, I'm gonna watch this because I need something to do, I might not come back. If this is your first episode and you're like, I may or may not come back. If you do, cool. If not, that's totally okay too. But share it with like your bookworm friends because we all have bookworm friends. Um, we are each other's bookworm friends. That and like mom.
Mm-hmm.
Which mom, by the way, if you're watching this, we love you.
I don't think she watches it.
I know that she says she's going to.
Yeah, but I don't think she
keeps getting in the way. So, mom, when you watch this, we love you.
You know how I know she hasn't watched it?
Huh?
Because she didn't know until the other day that this book is a first edition book, even though we first mentioned it in the middle of a video.
Yeah.
So that's how I found out that mom hasn't been watching our podcast.
But yeah, no, we
in her defense, she's probably like, I've heard this shit so many times before.
Right. But yeah, no, we genuinely do appreciate it. And if this is your first time and you're undecisive about coming back,
do it anyway. No.
Give it some thought. Don't give it some thought. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, a comment. If you're new,
share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies.
Hit that subscribe button. And as always, please remember to renew your books on the way out. We will see you back here in the library next week. Bye-bye.